Welcome to Between the Studs. I am Justin, and I'm here with Chris and some guy I don't recognize.
I'm your brother.
Oh, that's right.
Wow, I feel like I'm in Bizarro land.
Appropriate.
Me and Kyle.
Kyle has the Two-Face shirt on here.
Oh, yeah. That's why I wore my name tag, so you guys wouldn't confuse us.
Oh, good.
So today we're talking about DC superheroes, not direct current.
Yeah.
Although we could do a podcast about that in the future if we want to.
You know what bugs me about DC superheroes and Marvel superheroes is Lego, as far as Bricklink is concerned, just groups them all under superheroes.
Yes.
And it just really bothers me for some reason. It's not categorized well. The whole superhero universe is not categorized well on Bricklink.
I heard that the first 2 or 3 numbers on the boxes are the same for Marvel and DC. Is that true?
I've
never looked.
noticed that.
Okay.
Yeah. I know there's 8. The number 8 is on some of the Marvel sets.
Okay. Maybe not. Maybe that's not true then.
I don't know.
Okay. So we're talking about DC. We talked about Marvel a while ago. And we wanted to do DC, but no one in the store, other than Chris, knows anything about DC. They're all like Marvel fanboys because, specifically the movies, the MCU.
They don't know anything about the comics.
So I'd like to start before we get into Lego sets, and we will. You told us briefly about your love of comics and how you got into it. Can you kind of recap that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I liked Marvel better than DC, but not that much better. It was like 60-40, you know? So I would say my favorite DC characters were, of course, I liked Batman, and I had a lot of Batman comics. I got Detective Comics. I got The Dark Knight when it came out, which was, like, really cool. That was a great series. And then I got a lot of Green Lantern.
Really?
Yeah, Green Lantern was my subscription that I got. I don't know why. I don't remember liking him that much, but I had 2 older brothers, and they always got to choose what they wanted subscriptions to first, and then I got to choose mine. And I know my brother, the middle brother, had the Flash.
Okay.
My oldest brother, I can't remember his DC one. We got a DC and a Marvel one. I can't remember what his DC... It was probably Batman.
Okay.
And then I got Green Lantern.
At that time, did they have multiple Batmans? Like, did you have to choose which Batman or which Green Lantern? Or was that at a time where they only had one?
No, they did have multiples, but Hal Jordan was, like, the main guy. And it was his comic that was out at the time.
Okay.
So it was Green Lantern, the Hal Jordan one. But at the same time, Guy Gardner was showing up, Kilowog was showing up, all the weird and crazy Green Lantern Corps was showing up.
So that was new back then, when we were kids. I didn't realize that. Okay.
And then, well, I don't know if it was new, but it was definitely out.
Okay.
You know? And then I was at a flea market or a yard sale one time, and I got like an entire series of the Blue Beetle comics.
Yeah.
And I really liked them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Blue Beetle's pretty good.
It was great. And then as I got older and DC started introducing newer characters to compete with Marvel, I really liked Lobo.
Yes,
Lobo was really cool.
The anti-hero.
The anti-hero, Lobo and Deathstroke. And,
Lobo was kind of DC's answer to, what's his name? Funny guy. Deathstroke. Deadpool. Deadpool.
Deathstroke was, man, their names are the same. In fact, I don't know. I'll have to go back. It's Slade Wilson and Wade Wilson, I think, right?
Yes.
And
I think so, yeah.
I'll have to go back and look sometime, but one of them came first.
Deathstroke was
obviously.
first.
Deathstroke
I know
came
that
first,
for a fact.
So Deadpool was a copy, a really good and better copy.
Yes.
Of Deathstroke. Okay. And then I like, in modern times, I love watching Gotham, the Titans on HBO, all the Batman movies.
Did you watch any of the animated movies? The DC animated ones?
Not as an adult. I watched the Super Friends as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Mr. Mixelplex. And they had to get him to say his name. And they always tricked him. It's like, no, I said my name.
Yeah.
No.
I wanted to ask Kyle, because I pretty much know that you like DC better than Marvel.
Yeah.
Would you kind of would you kind of explain, first of all, how we or you got into it and why that is?
Well, my brother and I would watch the Batman the Animated Series, and that was early '90s. And then I think after that was the X-Men. So like, nothing against Marvel, but my favorite Marvel team is X-Men.
Because that's what we were exposed to.
Because that's what we were exposed to, and that's such a cool cartoon. And but DC, it was Batman. Batman was so cool. He was the revenge guy, and I did get some of the comics. And when you found out more about him, like where he came from, and how old he was, and the circumstances of how the writers came up with him during the 30s, late 20s, early 30s, or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll get in that later, I guess. But yeah, I just enjoy the animation. I think that's what it was. And then I collected a lot of the animated movies. I had almost all
on
of them.
DVD, VHS?
DVD.
Okay.
These are a fairly new thing. These are in the last 10, 15 years, the DC animated movies. And a lot of people don't know this, but Marvel, we're not going to say, oh, the DC movies are great too. We're not even going to entertain that. The Marvel movies blow the DC movies out of the water.
Now,
far.
Now, Batman just came out.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago. And have you guys seen it?
No, I have not.
And my son and I have both seen it. And I think it's very much like Gotham. It's not real superhero-y. The bad guys don't have costumes. And it's dark. And what my son liked about it, he's a huge Marvel fan. He said this is better than Marvel.
Oh, wow.
But at the same time, he said it's not in the same category because, in Marvel is all sci-fi, whereas this really wasn't sci-fi. It could have happened. I mean, there was nobody was in a costume except Batman, really.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about Batman.
Yeah.
I think that's what Batman deals with, the psychological so much more. Almost all his villains are just crazy. Not a lot of them have superpowers. There's a few, but most of them don't. They're just nuts.
Yeah,
and that's what's so
Arkham
cool
Asylum.
about it. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but what I was going back to say is that if you have not checked out the DC animated movies, now they are adult. They're PG-13 and above, most of them.
Yeah, the earlier ones were more family friendly.
Yeah.
Are they dark?
They're pretty dark. Yeah.
And there were the older ones were for like later teens. Like you could watch them with your family.
The ones
They
coming out
didn't
now.
have blood in them. They were a little bit of violent, but mostly action. And then that slowly changed. They started putting.
And they're
swearing.
all based on really popular comic series.
Yes.
They're not original stories.
Okay.
With the exception of like The Killing Joke, they've all been amazing.
The Killing Joke wasn't good?
The Killing Joke was terrible.
Well, it was a weird.
It was a weird
comic.
adaptation.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I will agree. Oh, were you finished? I will agree. I'm Marvel. I'm sorry. I'm DC leaning because I think it's just that's what I was exposed to. I love that '90s X-Men, but until the Marvel movies came out, I didn't know who any of these people were. I'd never heard of Doctor Strange. I knew Spider-Man, of course. And I was aware of Hulk because the Lou Ferrigno TV show. And I knew who Iron Man was. Do you remember this? Because of the Japanese, like, Power Ranger, old 70s Iron Man they had. Do you remember that?
No.
But apparently back in the 70s, Marvel was in trouble and they had licensed some of their stuff out. There's a Japanese live-action Spider-Man and Iron Man. And I remember that airing as a kid. So that was my introduction to Iron Man. Was this weird
I'm sure it was excellent,
dubbed...
right? It was awesome, right?
I just remember him on the tracks at a theme park at a roller coaster, and he had to call on the suit or something, or maybe he transformed.
I remember that.
It was
I must have
really
seen it.
weird.
Yeah. Was it in Japanese?
Yes, I mean it was dubbed.
Oh,
It was
dubbed.
dubbed,
Okay,
so
gotcha.
their words didn't. So I didn't know who half Thor, I never heard of him.
Wow.
Like,
I studied mythology.
I was born into this. It's like, how could you not?
So the DC, because of like we were a little too young for Super Friends, but I think it was still airing when we were kids.
I remember watching it. Yeah.
But I always knew all the DC guys. I knew who Sinestro was. I knew who Green Lantern was. I grew up with all those guys, and then Batman the Animated Series, and then right after that was the Superman, the Justice League cartoon that was in the same vein. And I will come down and say this. We'll get into the Lego. I promise we'll get into Lego. The reason why the Marvel movies are better and the DC cartoons are better, I think it's because it comes down to the fact that, at least in the beginning, the Marvel movies had one individual or a couple that were kind of overseeing the whole thing. There was one individual that had a rough plan, and everything kind of went through them. Of course, the executives could make changes and whatever, but there was one person at the top that kind of organized the whole thing. The DC movies are the same way. Bruce Timm, the guy who made Batman the Animated Series, he's kind of in charge of DC animation. And I think that's why they're so good, is that there's one guy
More
on the
consistency.
top. Yes, who kind of plans the whole thing. I think for most of those animated cartoons, they've kept the same directors, or 2 or 3 different directors. It's been the same voice casting lady
Susan
for almost
Liu.
all of them, yeah.
Voice of RC and Transformers.
So I think that's why. And then the Marvel is successful for the same reason in the movies. But yeah, for me personally, well, let's do this. Favorite DC superhero?
Ooh.
Oh, easy. Batman.
Batman. Okay.
Batman. He's, you know, for those reasons, you know, he's just a normal guy. His superpower is being rich.
And really awesome.
And really awesome. You know, he used all his money to, you know, Batman's a revenge story, right?
Yeah.
He's, you know, his parents were taken away, and at that point they say Bruce Wayne died and he became Batman. And then he learned his whole life, the rest of his life.
Yeah.
When he was 10, 12, depends on the story.
Bruce Wayne is actually the costume. Batman's who he really
and
is.
they actually did that in the animated series,
Mhm.
where, you know, because there was that one where, I don't know, that episode where somebody took over his mind, and he kept saying Bruce to him, and he knew it wasn't him because he doesn't refer to himself as Bruce. And then I can't remember who it was. It was Alfred says, no, it wasn't Alfred. It was somebody said, well, who do you refer to yourself? Oh, wait, I know. It's Batman.
For me, while you're thinking, I like The Flash because I played The Flash at Six Flags. One of my jobs back in my acting day was I got hired to be the guy that walks around at Six Flags dressed in the Flash costume.
You could totally pull off that costume. Yeah.
So that's what I did. Actually, Kyle, the next year, Kyle was
You
was
roped
the
me
Flash
into that
as well.
job, too.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys ever did this ever happen where you couldn't make it to something and the other twin just took your place and pretended to be you?
When we were bag boys at Kroger. It was the only time we used our superpowers for evil. I think I did it for you first. You had some music thing or some gig or something, and you could not work. And rather than switching schedules and something, I just put on his name tag. And no one knew. As I was clocking out, someone said, "Hey, Kyle," someone from our high school said, hey, Justin," to me.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's so fun.
And then he, like, weeks later, he did the same for me.
Yeah.
That was the only time ever we ever used our powers for evil.
Did your mom ever mark you with a Sharpie?
No. My mom had this amazing ability to tell us apart.
Okay.
And
You could tell us apart from behind.
Yeah,
I don't
She
know
just
if
knew.
you remember that Office episode where Michael Scott and I think it was Andy have dates and they look similar, and it's a Christmas party.
I did not see that one.
They're Asian ladies, and he just kind of real slyly just marks his with a Sharpie.
Okay, favorite DC hero?
I gotta go with Batman. I hate to be so cliche, but I mean, there's just so much Batman.
Yeah.
And then you think of which was, I mean, my first, we didn't even talk about this, the 1960s Adam West Batman. I mean, that was probably all of our first exposure to Batman. And then when my son was a kid, he was watching the movie, and I was like, this is hysterical. This is so funny.
That movie.
I'm like, what the heck? You know, I was like, when I was a kid, it's great.
Yeah.
But as an adult, it's even funnier.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I saw a bumper sticker the other day of him holding the big cartoon bomb, and it said, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Well, I think Batman is so interesting, and it's like, if you had that, his wealth, would you do the same thing? Would you save your city? What would you do if you had his resources?
No.
No.
No, I mean, I wouldn't.
But, you know, Superman, you can't be Superman.
No,
But
no.
you might be Batman.
A lot of people have beef with Superman. I mean, he's hard not to like. He's such a likable guy. But he's too overpowered. And we had this discussion last week. We have a lot of deep conversations here at the Lego store. And these are high school kids. And I overheard one high school kid, one of our employees, ask another one, hey, who do you think would win, Galactus or Superman? And I'm like, duh. I mean, what kind of question is that? You know, and they're pondering it and talking about it. And I'm like, guys, this isn't even a conversation. Superman wins unless Galactus has kryptonite. Yeah, but Galactus eats worlds. It's like it doesn't matter.
Superman can move the Earth.
I've watched a bunch of videos on like Superman versus and stuff like that, and I loved what one of the critics said. He said the point of Superman is that he is the ultimate. It's the thing we all aspire to be. It's people may he's the Boy Scout, he's boring. It's because he is the ultimate. He is the best that we see in ourselves. And that's why he always has to win. But it's how he does that. How can he...
Yeah, well, on something similar, it's never a question whether he can do it, it's whether he should.
Yeah.
So he can always do it. He can do it. He can move the Earth.
Yeah. That same critic said the biggest difference to him between Marvel and DC, and it's just like how you like your flavor. How do you like your pizza, right?
Yeah.
Marvel are regular guys and gals dealing with having the powers of gods and being around people and how they interact, because they still have like homework to do and jobs and bills to pay. DC, you don't have that. DC is about gods dealing with trying to be people. And it's you know, what flavor of pizza you want. How do you like your superheroes? So, and I don't think you have to be all DC or all Marvel.
Yeah.
It's just what you relate to more in general. One more thing. The reason I like The Flash is because among all this pantheon of god-like people in the DC universe, in the Justice League, Flash is the funny one. He's the one that's a little more laid back, and he's a little more comical. If anyone's going to be comic relief,
He's kind of
it's
like
Flash.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, recently they've made Hal Jordan more of a comedic character, but before it was always Flash. Flash was the guy who was kind of goofy and kind of funny on purpose.
Yeah.
But anyway, shall we get into Lego?
Oh, yeah, that's why we're here. Okay.
So DC Lego started in 2006, but it was actually Batman. As we could all guess, probably. Batman was the beginning. And do we have any of those first release?
We do. This is one right here. This is the Tumbler. This was the first Tumbler that they made, and it came in this set here with Joker's ice cream truck, which is a great build. Both builds are really good, and that Joker was really good. And this would have come out, I guess, in 2006?
2008.
2008. Okay. So this was considered Batman 2, I think.
Okay.
And
same logo.
This would have been based on the movie that was out,
Yes.
The Dark Knight, at the time.
I didn't realize that movie was so old.
So is this Christian Bale Batman then?
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Because that was when they changed the costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is my favorite Batman. Christian Bale. I think because I like Christian Bale a lot. I think he's a great actor, and I liked him in American Psycho and a couple other things. But I think it's because I like Christian Bale. But I mean, they're all great.
Yeah.
You know, Adam West. I mean, there's none that I didn't like. I don't like Ben Affleck as an actor. But I liked his Batman was fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
it was serviceable.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say there's anybody I never liked.
Now, one of the things I've heard multiple people say is that one of the things DC has over Marvel is the villains. The DC villains, Batman's Rogue Gallery alone is just so much more iconic and probably more well known as well. Do you guys have, and it doesn't have to be Batman's, but do you guys have a favorite DC villain?
The Joker is just neat because he is the opposite of Batman. You know, Batman's the Order, and Joker's
Grim
the Chaos.
Protector.
Yeah, the Grim Protector, and then you have the bad guy who's dresses like a clown and
bright and colorful.
Bright and colorful, causes chaos.
So who was the best Joker?
Who was the best
Cinematic?
actor?
Yeah.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I figured you guys would say that based on what we've talked about so far. I would say Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson was really cool.
Yeah, I just thought he just captured it just
To
right.
me, the Tim Burton movies were the perfect mix of Joel Schumacher's silly, cartoonish comic book and the more realistic ones of Batman Begins. His was a good mixture of both. Mm-hmm. It was silly and cartoony and comic booky, but not so much that you dismissed it. Tim Burton was so good at mixing the humor and the dark.
Yeah.
And I felt like his two movies, his two installments, were so unique.
And it was dark.
Yes.
It was funny.
Yeah.
And comical and for kids, because I watched it as a kid and didn't think twice. But, you know, it was dark if you think about it.
And I like Jack. I agree with you. Jack Nicholson hit that perfect middle ground of being comic booky but still threatening.
And if you think of, what's that movie, the Stephen King movie he was in?
The Shining.
The Shining.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes...
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest prepared him to be Joker.
This is the Jack Nicholson
Yes,
Joker, right?
this is the Jack Nicholson Joker from the Batwing, right? The big UCS Batwing, correct? This is the parade scene.
Yeah. Yes.
Where he's dancing with Prince music.
And,
money.
And Bob.
Yeah, and Bob.
Yeah. But we were talking about this the other day, and we were talking about all the villains from the Tim Burton series and the major actors that played them. I mean, you got Danny DeVito, Jack Nicholson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tommy Lee Jones,
Michelle Pfeiffer. There's more.
Yeah.
There's somebody I'm forgetting. Danny DeVito.
Jim Carrey.
Danny DeVito and Jim Carrey. I mean, that is huge. Those were like the biggest actors
that
of
was,
the day.
and even the Batman were always major stars at the time. So that was a thing. Is to have
Tim Burton started it.
And Robin, Chris O'Donnell was big at the time.
At the time,
he was a teenage heartthrob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, favorite villain? Did we get to that?
Joker.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You know, I
Captain
kind of
Cold.
like Darkseid.
Yeah.
Are they going to say Captain Boomerang?
Captain Cold. He's my favorite. No, Mirror Master.
Never Captain Boomerang. I read a comic with him in it. It was so adult. And
Really?
the content was really bad. And he is a bad guy. So don't.
He's a crass Aussie.
Yeah. He
okay.
is crossed off my list. I hate him.
But I like Darkseid. He is. If people say, "Oh, he's just a ripoff of Thanos," Darkseid was first. He
wasn't that he created by Jack Kirby?
I believe so. Jack Kirby in the Fourth World comics.
New Gods.
He was first, and Thanos was actually. They had admitted that he was a copy. We needed a big bad too, and the original Thanos was small and skinny, and I forgot who it was. If it was Stan Lee or what, it was like, well, if you're gonna copy him. Go and make him big. And so they gave him the same proportions as Darkseid. But Darkseid, I guess, I mean, he's just so evil and threatening. He's like the ultimate Darth Vader type bad guy, humorless. He's just there to destroy.
Yeah, and he was in that cartoon back in the 80s. Was it called Super Friends? Was that the DC
The 80s one?
The 80s cartoon?
Maybe.
Was it? I can't remember. If
he
it
was
Super
in
Friends
the Super Friends?
He was.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they actually had an action figure, and he was one with me. I played with action figures growing up. And I always mixed DC, Marvel, Star Wars, didn't matter. And Darkseid was one of my favorites. And he was bigger than the others. He was stronger. And he had if a light came through the top, his eyes glowed.
Oh, wow.
So
The light
pretty cool.
That's awesome.
A cool character. My favorite would be just only because how he was portrayed in Wonder Woman recently. I thought that this Steppenwolf was really
Aries, right?
This is Aries?
Yeah.
Steppenwolf I thought this was Steppenwolf.
Aries was.
You're right. This is Aries.
Steppenwolf was the guy with the big side things. Yeah, he's missing his eyeball.
Aries and Steppenwolf.
Okay.
Both
Do we have
very cool characters?
He was a large, buildable like Groot, the Steppenwolf.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Huh.
He was. We have him, or we had him in the store.
I'll have to look him up. But Aries because they're not just comic book characters.
Yes.
They're
They're gods.
mythology.
Yeah.
Mythology.
Yeah.
So anyhow, there's Aries there, and he was from the recent Wonder Woman movie.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I did bring this Wonder Woman from the second movie. I have not seen this yet. I just love this packaging. I thought this was so cool. They really leaned hard in the 80s with this, and it's so different for Lego.
It was, yeah.
This actually confused me when I saw it on the shelf because I didn't know it was a set at first. Because usually you get the product, and this is like, what is this? Is this a calendar? Because it's about the size of a calendar. I didn't know what it was.
And then this was about the same time. Yeah. They had the classic Wonder Woman. This was supposed to be a San Diego Comic-Con, but because of the COVID, they didn't have the convention, so they, it's retail price. It's $40.
Yeah.
So I think they just went ahead and produced a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's cool.
What are these called? These scenes?
A vignette.
A vignette.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the only thing exclusive to this is the box and that either print or sticker. I think that is it. Nothing is exclusive to this.
All right.
And I think I was told the Marvel one is like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a comic cover they're emulating, is that correct?
Yes, the first appearance of Cheetah or something like that.
Okay.
And there was a Superman one too with him from the Action
car.
Comics with the green car. They made
yellow?
one like that too.
Oh, green color.
I don't remember. We'll say.
And the Wonder Woman movies were they were good.
Yes.
They were worth watching. Just like I thought Aquaman was good.
Yeah.
But they're not that Marvel quality.
Yeah, I think they were better because they were more lighthearted and they weren't so Snyderverse. I guess.
Now it's funny you say that because for me the Snyder cut was top of the
You
top.
told me that was the one to watch.
Loved it. It hit me just right. I was like, what in the world? This is the same footage from the original Justice League, but better.
Yeah.
They took... It's just
It was
amazing.
an hour longer?
I've never seen a movie the same way since.
Oh, okay.
That's I just think about adding music in slow motion, what it does to the story. And it's a totally different story, the way they told it in the Snyder Cut. And it's amazing.
Interesting.
So, and I think about that when I watch all these movies now.
Yeah. What could it be if someone else got their hands on it?
Exactly. All right, so we talked about the 2006 Batman. And then they had the 2008, which was obviously the Dark Knight related.
The movie, yeah, everything was based on the new look for him.
I can't remember the sets. They were all pretty basic sets from the first one. Here's another old one here, but I think this is 2008. This is could be the first appearance of Harley Quinn in a Lego set.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised. We're just kind of making this stuff up, but I'm pretty sure that is.
And wasn't Harley Quinn invented by Bruce Timm?
I believe so. Him and his team. Harley Quinn was invented for that cartoon for the Batman animated series. And now look at her. 2008.
Yeah.
2008.
She's got to be the most popular female DC character.
Over Wonder Woman, you think?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. People, as far as sales go of Lego, guys, because she crosses over into guys. See, guys aren't really buying Wonder Woman. Guys are buying Harley Quinn. She is cool.
Yeah.
And girls will buy Harley Quinn. When we went to Dragon Con, when Suicide Squad was out, all the girls were dressed up as Harley Quinn. You know, so it crosses the threshold between guys and girls, whereas Wonder Woman does not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking at this. They did not do this for Marvel, but they did for DC. The DC superhero girls, short-lived, 2 seasons? 2 release seasons? Or that was it? 2 or 3? And Angie told me the #1 seller mini doll is Harley Quinn. The one in her full outfit is the #1 DC superhero girls seller.
Well, this was based on a YouTube show.
A YouTube cartoon show.
A short.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it was
minutes.
hot for a second. I mean, you saw T-shirts and all this stuff.
I think it's great. I think that's really cool. But guys aren't really collecting or buying mini dolls, so you're 100% dependent on, that female market.
Yeah.
That had the clear motorcycle.
Yeah.
I thought that was so neat.
Instead of the invisible jet.
It's invisible.
Yeah, it's invisible. Sorry. Here's
Speaking of the invisible jet.
Invisible jet. This is very small invisible jet. But it's mostly invisible, I'd say.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It is really neat. And at the time that came out, that was the most trans clear, I think, than had ever been in
Wow.
a set.
That's a
And
really
Lego-
big piece.
Lego doesn't make that many trans clear. And so I think to do it as good as they did was kudos to the designer.
And I feel like, I mean, you can tell me what you think. They really tried to maximize the largeness with the fewest amount of pieces.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they wanted to make an expensive set.
No.
For a Wonder Woman clear jet. Because you ended up with this really weird design. Like, if this was black, it would look like a Batman.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a W.
Yeah, Wonder Woman. There you go.
Hey, there you go.
You solved the riddle.
Yeah, I saw the riddle. That's why it's shaped like that.
All right. So, let's
There's
see.
this Batmobile.
Oh, yeah.
So which one's better? The Tumbler? Which one would you rather cruise in?
The visibility would be terrible. And try parking it.
Yeah.
I would rather cruise in this one.
If you're going to a drive-in movie.
If I were fighting a battle, I would rather fight a battle in
In
this
a tank.
This one can go on rooftops, though.
Yes.
Now, I think this is the newer version of the classic 60s Batmobile, not the one from the 60s Batcave.
That is an awesome
But
set.
they look similar, and it's still really, really cool.
Yes.
So.
I love it. I love it.
And what does this have in it? The detectoscope.
That's right. Everything was labeled.
And it's got the bat phone sitting in there.
The giant red phone.
Emergency bat turn lever.
Isn't it would make playing fast
Oh,
motion?
is that where it would shoot out the grappling hook and it would?
I don't
go
think
around?
that one did that. They just played in fast motion.
Oh,
And it would
okay.
turn.
That's
You know, this is the '60s. Grappling hooks were expensive.
There's a grappling hook shortage in '64.
in the 60s. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
It's really cool how they're coming back out with this vintage Batman stuff. This one here, is this one a vintage one?
This is very much a Burton inspired, I think.
For sure.
Is that a new piece?
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
that was new for the time.
And some of these sets, it's like, what did this go to? Was it from the Tim Burton Batman?
I don't.
Was it
think
from
it was
a cartoon?
Just one of the many. Just like here's another Batman
It
set.
does say Batman 80 years
Okay.
right there. So this was 80 years of Batman. So this was, I don't know, it definitely didn't look like this 80 years ago.
No.
Very cool set though. Before, people had to make their own custom 1980s Batmobiles.
Yes.
And now you're seeing them they're just coming out with a bunch of them. In fact, funny thing keeps happening to us. It's happened twice this week. When you bought that 1989 UCS Batmobile recently, like a couple years ago, I think, they gave you a small Batmobile from 1989. And it was a limited edition one. That's worth like $200.
Yeah,
So
almost as much as the
We've
real one?
no, it's this
well,
size.
It's this size.
Oh, okay. I
And
was thinking like
it didn't even come with any minifigures, but it does have like a plaque. And so we've got it on our website with the set number, and it's the 1989 Batmobile limited edition, and it's over $200. So twice, a customer has bought it thinking it was the big one. The first one returned it. The second one, we said, hey, I want to make sure you know what you're buying here, and because they're buying it off our website. And they were like, oops, no, thanks for telling me. I wanted the big one. So, but that's just goes to show you they're coming out with plenty of 1980s Batmobiles.
Yes.
now.
Well, how much
Which
is the
is
big
nice.
one now?
The big one when it came out was like $250, right, or $240 or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
and the little
But
one, the
the-
free one, is almost worth as much.
Yeah.
Because it's a minifig scale. It's this size. It's that size, but it's the Tim Burton 1989 Batmobile.
So if you have a Batman setup, you have to have that.
You have to have that. Now they've made a regular Lego release that was closer than this. It's not 100% the 1989, but there was a mass release version of the Burton Mobile close enough that has come out since.
That's crazy.
Talk about a cool villain.
Oh,
Reverse
yeah.
Flash or
Yeah.
Professor Zoom.
Yeah.
So do you watch all the CW shows?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
I
Yeah.
watched this one.
I really think, not to be so guy-girl oriented, but my wife and daughter love those CW DC shows. And I just can't get into them. They're really a little too much drama for me.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was gonna
they're
say.
definitely more for.
Yeah,
Now, my
and-
wife did like Arrow. I saw a few episodes of that, and Flash. And I think those were less. Those two were a little less about that. They still had the drama,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as bad as some of the others. Like I heard Supergirl was unwatchable. I don't know.
I didn't see it.
This from 2018. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the only way to get him?
It was the only way to get him. And he cracks easy because
he's
he's
the-
that bright light orange.
Yes.
And he's $60 to $80 now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between Reverse Flash and Professor Zoom?
Reverse Flash runs backwards.
Oh,
No. I think that's just two names for the same person.
It does. That TV show though, gets really deep into Flash and the villains.
Yes.
And all kinds of villains are coming up. So
Yeah.
that is kind of neat about it, but it didn't interest me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know who did it first, if it was Doctor Strange or the Flash, but the Flash, because of his speed, can do all the time travel in different worlds and pull flashes from other universes and stuff. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think DC did that first. I think they've always had an established idea of different
yeah.
worlds.
I think in the
The
60s
Crisis-
or 70s, he had the time treadmill. He would run on a treadmill and he could travel through time.
Well, what would be neat is if they did the same thing Spider-Man just did, and they bring a bunch of different Batman together.
I think they
Which they
did.
totally could.
They did do that in the Flash TV show. The Jay Garrick, the one with the Hermes helmet. He came into it, and there's a Barry Allen Flash, and then there's a what's the other guy's name?
Barry Allen and
The other guy, the
the
original Red Flash. So there's been multiple Flashes, but anyway, I digress. Flash is awesome. Flash is awesome.
Speaking of the Barry Allen Flash, wasn't he in this CMF series? The DC CMF series?
I can't remember.
I think so. I
Okay.
think he's in there. Yeah. So I brought 3 of these for us to, I don't know, play a game with.
Oh, okay.
And we can open them up right here.
Okay.
We'll take them.
We'll do it. You want to guess it first?
Yeah,
Or-
try to guess who you've got. These are the, if you're listening in on the podcast, these are the DC minifigures. And these were not very popular when they were out, but they have, in my opinion, skyrocketed in value. They're up to $10 a pack now.
now being a Green Lantern fan. Who is this guy? Which Green Lantern is that?
I have no idea. I have no idea. In fact, I brought Green Lantern, the Jessica Cruz polybag. I thought I had brought it, but I didn't. She's a... Hold on. Yeah, I think it's still recording. Okay.
What I loved about this is that they had 3 first appearances in it. They had first appearance Batman, first appearance Cyborg, and first appearance Wonder Woman.
That Cyborg is weird looking.
That's what he looked like.
So he came out in the 70s?
I believe
he
so.
looks like
Yeah.
Disco to me.
Yes!
Huh.
But those were supposed to look like the front cover of when they came out. I'm thinking this is Joker because I see the pole, the bar attachment,
Okay.
and I feel the bar there. It's the medium size, or maybe the short bar.
I have this weird triangular piece.
Now, we only had three or 4 packs left out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing these are 3 or 4 not very popular ones.
Okay. And isn't that Joker the Frank Miller Joker?
Was that the... Yeah.
Because he's wearing the white suit.
Yeah.
So that's another deep cut. You wouldn't know that unless you were really into comics.
What's... I can't remember the name of that story.
The Dark Knight Returns. We mentioned on another podcast a DC villain that probably no one would know. But you and I were like, oh yeah, Vandal Savage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know him from the Justice League, or Young Justice cartoon, which is also amazing.
There were some good episodes with him with the Superman.
Oh, really?
There was one where he basically destroyed the entire world, and Superman went forward in time, and since Vandal Savage is immortal, he was the only human left. And so he was alone for like 1,000 years until Superman jumped to the future.
Whoa, that's deep.
Yeah.
Should I open it? Or do you want
Who do you think you got?
I think I have the Joker merely because the bar.
All right, and then you have to name who you have in here. So there's going to be a winner or winners and a loser or losers.
Okay.
Because some of these guys I can't name. I don't know who this Bumblebee girl is.
That's Bumblebee.
Yeah, you got it.
I
That's
think I have somebody that is not pictured on here because there's
Yeah, I
some
think
guys
so.
not pictured.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who they are.
Yeah, I'm having trouble too. I have this weird triangular piece. I don't even know what it is.
Go ahead, Justin. You think you have who? The Joker?
I think I have, but now I'm double... let's just do it. I might be wrong. There might be someone else with a bar. I know I felt the bar attachment.
Oh, you're pretty good at opening these, huh?
I've opened
Looks
a lot
you've
of
done
these.
that a few times.
Oh no!
Stargirl.
Stargirl!
Oh, hold on, yeah. No, I don't have her. I'm gonna go with the Bumblebee girl.
You feel the wings?
I don't know who Stargirl is either. I saw her and I was like, oh, female
Captain America.
America.
Who is Stargirl, Kyle? I have no idea either.
She's part of the DC universe. And she wears red, white, and blue.
What are her powers?
She's from, she can harness the power of the stars.
Yeah,
It's
with
her
her
staff. Her
with her
staff gives her
Oh,
her ability.
I had Jay Garrick.
Oh,
sweet.
okay.
What a coincidence.
So we're 0 for 0.
All right. But we've
0
named
for 2.
them.
Yeah,
We've named
we
them.
knew who they
so
were.
we got that far.
So, I don't know what the extra... You know what? This might be Cyborg. He's got this weird purple... That might be what I found. I'm going to guess Cyborg.
I hope it is Cyborg. Cyborg's awesome.
Nope. It is...
We were all wrong.
What is this guy's name?
Molecular Man or something like
it's-
that?
Amazo?
It's not Amazo. It's the composite guy. Oh, what's his name? Oh, that was his fist, I felt. His weird...
I know who he is.
Yeah.
he was,
Cannot think of his name.
He's a classic character.
But he's got these really awesome trans clear leg.
He takes on everybody's powers,
Mhm.
right?
Absorbing Man or something? Not Absorbing
It's not
Man.
Absorbing. He's Marvel. Jay Garrick was one of the... These are all pretty good characters.
Yeah.
And minifigures. And these were the first ones to come with this piece that helps you pose them in new ways.
The action piece.
Yeah, to me
Yeah.
that was such a good idea.
Yeah.
Just for superheroes, especially the ones that can fly.
And they've used it to such good degrees on builds now. It's been intricate details and angles on builds. They've used it as the top of a water bottle. It's been great. It's been a great addition. Look at him.
Oh, that looks awesome.
He's cool, yeah. That's driving me crazy what his name is.
Here, let's look him up.
Gotta look him up. All right, I'll look him up.
Okay. What do you guys think of these these brick
I love 'em.
sketches?
I think they look pretty cool.
They're so simple. They're
Yeah.
so simple, but they look great.
And 115 pieces? That's...
I love how everything's Lego, even the back, the stand, everything.
Yeah.
It's Lego. There's no non-Lego in this. It's great. Now, speaking of obscure, or getting into obscure characters, Lego Batman movie reveled in just the obscurity of that. I saw an interview with the creators saying...
Metamorpho.
Okay.
Should've
That
known.
they would go to the Batman Rogues Gallery Wikipedia page and scroll to the bottom and start from there. So this is Eggman from the Lego Batman movie. I had not heard of him until the Lego Batman movie. Had you?
No.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Except the Beastie Boys did have a rap about him. I don't know if they were talking about him.
Give us a little.
Eggman, A Way of Life. I'm the Eggman. I'm Eggin.
Sounds like you're making it up. I don't know if I
Drive
believe
by
you.
Eggin. Drive by Eggin. They talk about.
That's what he listens
I think it was
to
on
as he's
License to
walking
Ill.
down this.
It's his giant
That
X
would have
suit.
been great if they put that in the
Yes.
the movie, because there were a lot of adult references in that.
Yes. I love how that Batman is every Batman. He's not one or another. He's every Batman ever that's ever existed. He's the comic book. He's the movie. He is every Batman. I love it.
I was thinking Dr. Eggman from Mega Man.
And then Condiment King.
Yes, he's from Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
He was
I
one
thought he was
episode
an
throwaway
just-
character.
I thought
on
he
Was
Batman
he
Beyond.
cool in that, or
No, he was a
he-
joke character in that. He was this guy who tried to hold up people.
Was that Beyond? I thought it was...
I thought it was Batman Beyond.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but I think it was.
And that's what's funny about DC is they have really ridiculous. If you were okay, so if you were just like from another country or another planet, and you came to Earth and you look at some of the names of these characters, Batman,
He's not a bat.
Man,
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not cool.
Yeah.
You know, they're not cool names. They're just so basic. And I think they've gone away from that with the newer characters.
Yeah.
You know, but back then, when they came out back in the 30s and 40s, they were just so basic.
Because they were the first, though. There was
Yeah.
no precedence. Superman was the first.
But we think of Batman, and we don't think he's...
No, that's his name.
That's-
Batman.
I mean,
He's a man
Batman's
who
cool,
dresses like a
right?
bat. He's Batman.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't
So,
Superman based on...
but with DC it's they've got these stupid characters like Eggman and Condiment King and Captain Boomerang. I mean, that's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But they're so dark. Like,
Yeah.
really dark. Like, they're psychotic. Like, what is his backstory?
Yeah.
It's probably really, really scary.
Yeah.
So, like, if you watch Gotham or, you know, the Titans, it's very adult content.
Yeah.
And,
I
and
think
the new Batman.
Yes, I think of the Batman video games that came out that had pretty much the entire Rogues Gallery except for Eggman. They had the Calendar Man in there, and he's like a crazy killer and stuff. It gets dark, man.
Yeah.
He kills people with cholesterol.
Were we? Yeah. What did you say about?
Well, I was like, Superman, wasn't he based on like that Jewish mythology of the Ubermensch?
Maybe.
It was just they just took Ubermensch and Superman. I think. I don't know.
There was
Nerd.
there was some psychological journals that came out around that time that talked about this ideal human who would be a Superman, and that I don't know if one caused the other or whatever, but there were some ideas about living up to your fullest expectations. And again, that's what Superman is. It's not for us to ever be him. It's for us to be inspired by him. And it's like, what would Superman do? He'd probably lift that bridge and shoot lasers, but I'm going to do my best.
And I do think that they've done a good job with the Superman movies, and they give him that inner conflict with he's got all this power. Is he really doing the right thing with it?
Yes.
Because sometimes he'll save somebody, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. With him, it's always going to be the mental
And I like
struggle.
Henry Cavill is my favorite Superman. I really like his character. I like The Witcher that he's in. I don't think he's going to be Superman anymore. I think they've decided that.
Okay.
But then before that, I would have to go with Dean Cain. I like Dean Cain.
From Lois and Clark.
Dean Cain.
Really?
I watched all those, so I really like.
We
that.
did too.
I vaguely remember watching that.
Yeah.
It was a fairly, like, I guess
Competent.
competent adaptation. Yeah. I mean, anyway, yeah. It was funny.
Going back to the first Batman sets, these were the McDonald's toys that came out in what is this? 2008, I think. Boy, 2006 must have been really rare. We don't have any 2006 stuff here. But these McDonald's toys were, a lot of people throw these out. And this ends up in our sorting room in the trash, too, because people don't realize they're Lego. But they're actually really cool
Yeah.
characters. Like, he actually shot something out of his gun, and really neat characters. So I like them a lot, but they're cheap. They're $5 each.
Yeah. And we do sell these here if you want.
And then there's another one in there, Mr. Freeze.
Oh, awesome.
And these are just larger versions of the original Lego minifigures.
In very dynamic poses.
Yeah.
He was a neat character. It was just tragic.
Yeah.
He was involved in an accident trying to save his wife, and then he just went to crime, and
Because he had to.
he didn't have to, but he didn't.
He was just trying to save his wife.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a love story. It's a
Yeah.
love story.
And who could play it better than
Arnold
Schwarzenegger?
There was a lot of depth to his character. I really
Yeah, a
felt
lot of
that.
emotion, especially with all the puns he made.
The Lego Batman movie sets gave us so many.
Oh, yeah.
To me, they did, like, the Lego movie just upped their game, I thought, and they carried that over to the Lego Batman movie with some of these sets. This is the Joker Lowrider, and man, does it scream Lowrider and Joker. This thing's awesome.
And that has
It
a
is.
suspension, right? The working suspension.
Yes. Yep. It's awesome.
Really, really cool.
Friends.
And it had a golden chicken, I think,
Yes,
on the front.
yes.
Yeah. And then I grabbed this one to talk about because this was the Penguin's car from the Lego Batman movie. And that is really nice.
Like a zooped up Rolls Royce.
Oh, yeah.
Gutenberg or something.
This is something that, like, The Great Gatsby
Yes!
or something
Yes!
would be in. So I think people buy this not as Penguin's car.
Yes.
But just as a really fancy car.
Yeah.
You know,
You'd have to find out how to take out those dual wheels in the back somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
It's so neat that they use. That's a balloon piece.
I think originally it was a balloon or,
for the
like
fender.
a roof or some kind of,
For the
fender.
hot air balloon, yeah.
But yeah, that's an amazing
It's a perfect
use.
use of a fender, yeah.
So
I love
that's
it.
really cool. And
got
it says High Flyer.
That's funny, because penguins don't fly.
Yeah, that's the joke, I think. What do you guys think is your favorite obscure character that they actually made in Lego? I mean, let's take Lego Batman out of it, because that's unfair, because it's nothing but obscure characters. So let's take the Lego Batman movie out of it, and any sets. But I'll start with mine. Oh, go ahead. You have one?
I was going to say Gentleman Ghost. Didn't they make a Gentleman Ghost?
Yes.
Because he was just neat looking.
Yeah.
Because he was completely
But
clear,
that
right?
was Lego Batman.
That was... It
That
was
Lego
a
Batman
movie. Okay, so you can't
Yeah.
use that one.
Well, I didn't. Does it count if I didn't know that?
Yes.
We just have to choose another one.
Okay,
I'll give you
think-
mine. I'll give you mine.
That Gentleman Ghost, though, from the time he came out, he has been really, really expensive.
Yeah,
And I don't know
really.
what he's selling for now, but the set itself was rare for some reason.
It was?
Yeah, you never saw it. And he was $40 in this. It was like a
Immediately.
$60 set, maybe.
Wow.
And you just don't see that set very often. They made a lot of Lego Batman movie sets,
Mm-hmm.
and they like normal DC sets never really appreciated that much. I think they just made a lot of them.
Right.
But with the Lego Batman movie, those sets have really gone up in price. They've skyrocketed.
You've mentioned that before, that almost all Lego sets appreciate eventually. But there's this weird thing with the DC Batman specifically, that middle range, not the beginning and not the last few years, but that middle range are almost still retail.
Yeah.
Would you kind of go into that a little bit
So
again?
there was I think it was the second Batcave, and it had Bane on his drill machine, and that still hovers close to retail price. It begins with a 6868 or something like that. The set number, that whole series. You had the Flash and Riddler chase. That's a $30 set retail. It hovers $30-$40, you know. And I do think it had something to do with the production run. They made a lot of those sets.
You think it's purely that?
Yeah, I think it is. The Dynamic Duo Funhouse was in there. Batman and the Penguin small set was in there.
What years are we talking about? What's the range that fit into that category?
I don't know. I think it's 2012, 2014, maybe.
So that range tends to still be at retail, even though they're going on 10 years old now.
Yeah. I don't even think we have any. This is from that area. This was Lex Luthor's mech, but this one did go up a little bit because it had Wonder Woman in it, and it was the only way to get Wonder Woman until they came out with the Dimensions character.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this was neat because it had the ball joints, and they didn't have the Mixel joints at this point, did they?
And it wasn't necessarily Batman; it was Superman.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I'll give you my favorite obscure character that they actually made in Lego, Blue Beetle.
yeah,
I cannot believe they made
what
him.
Blue Beetle is that? Because that's not the one I liked.
That's the one from Young Justice.
Okay.
I think that's the newest one where the Blue Beetle was
Jaime?
passed. Yeah, Jaime. He's Hispanic, I think, so his name is Jaime. And that's the Blue Beetle I was introduced to, and that's the one I like.
Okay.
So to have a minifig of him, and he's got those really unique backpack that they'll never make again.
The Scarab armor.
Yes.
I'm surprised they didn't make the comic book version of the Blue Beetle in the DC pack.
Yes.
But I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that
be
would've been a good
surprised
one.
if they do come out with them.
The original Blue Beetle.
They had the Power Twins. They're not pictured on the thing.
Oh, the Wonder Twins.
The Wonder Twins.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
They're not even on there, are they?
Maybe
Are those from the
Maybe
Batman
from
movie?
a different set.
they might have been the Batman movie.
Lego Batman movie 2.
Yes.
The second series. Yeah.
So, do you guys have a favorite
My
minifig
obscure character
that they actually made?
was
Yeah.
Lobo. That was kind of an odd
Yes!
set. Didn't that come with a dog? Somebody's dog?
I think
too?
so.
Batman's dog?
Yeah. Duke.
I liked
Ace,
Lobo when he
right?
came out.
Ace.
He was cool, but I haven't seen him in anything. You know, he's not like a popular character.
What a cool character to make
Yeah.
in, like, if you want an answer to Deadpool, it's Lobo. If you want a guy who can come in and crack a joke but actually threaten people as powerful as Wonder Woman and Aquaman, it's Lobo.
You know who would play a good Lobo?
Who?
Jason Momoa.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but he can't because he's Aquaman.
He's Aquaman.
Yeah, they got to choose somebody
Ron
else.
Perlman's too old.
Yeah.
I think he would be a good Lobo, but he's almost
Yeah.
too old now. Yeah.
Lobo's supposed to be big. Is
Yeah.
Ron Perlman that big?
Ron Perlman's pretty tall.
Okay.
But he's getting up there.
Here's another set that came out in that time period that's not as valuable, but this is another exception to that rule because this is the one Brainiac is going up, and this had Supergirl in it too, which Supergirl, that was the only way to get Supergirl. So, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really liked
Well,
that.
they took Brainiac's iconic ship that's always been in the comics and scaled it down, but still kept all the important aspects of it. I love this set. You have this set, right?
Yeah, I
Kyle?
do. It's neat that it's round, but then they stuck the skull radiator.
This looks like the Space Skulls set from the Lego Factory set that
Yes.
Chris Giddens, a friend of ours, designed.
Yes.
But that does look like the Space Skulls.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did such a good job with the face. The angry skeleton.
Yeah.
With those sloped pieces. You can see that face. I mean,
The tentacles, the
very
silver
menacing.
tentacles.
Yeah, they had the tentacles. You know, this thing would just fly down, snatch up people.
Back to the Lego movie, Lego Batman movie.
Uh-huh.
The minifigures are skyrocketing in price.
Really?
The figures that came with Joker Manor, there's a Nightwing in there that's really goofy looking, and he's $130.
Really?
Actually sells. The Batman, I think the Joker and the disco outfits are in the hundreds. I mean, it's insane, and they sell. It's quick.
Wow. What is the most expensive, off the top of your head, non-San Diego Comic-Con, non-Comic-Con, regular set release figure in DC?
Well, I guess it would have to be those Joker Manor figures that I can think of.
Okay.
Not being an exclusive. Yeah.
Okay. Not Heath Ledger,
because
the first Heath Ledger Joker?
No.
Really?
No, the Joker Manor figures are higher than that. The
Wow.
Heath Ledger Joker we just sold about a month ago for $125.
Okay.
And these are selling for over $150.
Wow!
Yep. So, it's crazy.
Do you have a favorite obscure character that they actually made?
This guy. I never thought they'd make this guy. What's his name again?
Metamorpho.
Yeah.
I like Shazam. That was another one I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. He's not well known. And they made him in 2 sets, I think, before his movie came out. I think it was in 1 or 2 sets. I thought that was a pretty cool character. To me, the other thing I like about DC, going back to the differences, to me, if you just scan the core Justice League characters and the core Avenger characters, I just like the look of all the DC guys have their symbol prominently. They're all bright colors that look really well together, except for Batman, but he could be blue and gray too.
Yeah, it's true.
They just, to me, they're more aesthetically pleasing when you just scan them with your eyes than like Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America. Their costumes are a little more simplistic, very retro in most cases, but yeah.
They wear their underwear on the outside.
Yeah, which is important. Now, here's my question. Do they have a second set of underwear on the inside?
Why would you need it if you're wearing on the outside?
Well, I don't know. What if something scares you and you need that extra protection?
You would think if they were wearing it, it would show through. The seams would show through.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So you're saying only on the outside. You agree with Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2-1.
I look at
We
Superman
outnumber
and
you.
Batman in a different light. That's why Batman's is always dark colors.
Well, he has some scary villains.
Yeah, I know. He's some really scary villains. Okay, let's
Oh, you got a Comic-Con exclusive?
Yeah, this is a Comic-Con one here. This is really nothing special about this set. The Batman is like one of the cheapest Batman out there. The only thing exclusive to this that I know of is the packaging and that little tile there that says Batman 80 Years. So this was one of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, and it's $800 right now.
Wow.
Yeah. And they only made 1,500 of them. This one's actually numbered 448 out of 1,500.
Wow.
2019.
But you could get the instructions and offline and build it yourself easily.
Something a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And then there's the Batman that came out in 2012. He was a San Diego Comic-Con Batman. Really doesn't look special at all. I found his torso the other day, and it's his torso and his head, and his head looks like all the other Batman, except it's just like the smile is just slightly different, and it makes him a $1,200 figure. And I had an adult collector's. He actually used to work for Lego. And I was going through his collection. We had bought it from him. And he had all these San Diego Comic-Con figures that he sold separately. But that Batman just happened to be in there.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was identifying all the Batman. I was saving DC for last. I was sorting all the other themes first. And when I finally got to Batman, I was saving him for last because it's just so monotonous.
Yeah.
There's so many Batman. I came across it and I looked at it and I was like, San Diego Comic-Con, what? And Bricklink said it, you know. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
That's
so
cool.
It was like a literal treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Treasure hunting.
Yep.
How do you keep all those Batman? Do you have Bricklink up when you're sorting and putting them together?
Yeah.
Do you have to? Because they're
yeah.
You said they're so similar.
I sit on the floor, and so I can really spread out and be comfortable on the carpet, and I sort them by torso. I start with the torso, then I go to the heads, start putting the heads and the capes on, and most of their legs are generic. They're not printed.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you got to start with the torso because that's usually the most unique thing. A lot of the torsos share the same head, and then go from there.
Okay. Do you have a favorite cowl? Do you like the open cowl or the one that comes all the way down?
That's a good question. I was kind of surprised. Kyle's pointing at that old Batman cowl.
That's different because that's special because the ears make it look more like the first appearance. So that only came on him. But they did have two different ones, right? Like the one with the chin strap and the one without. Right?
So three different
Three different ones. Okay.
A lot of people don't notice, and I don't think we have any Batman here to show you, but the ears, are those ears?
I guess so. Yeah,
Ears or horns.
Yeah, they're ears.
One of them has wide ears, one of them has narrow ears, and a lot of people don't know that. They're called Type 1 cowl versus Type 2 cowl.
Oh, okay.
And what's interesting is the new Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman minifigure, has like the wide cowl, and his ears or horns in the new movie are like way in the back. They're just a little different. They're more like that original one, but they're shorter. So
he's got a new cowl?
No, he's using the same old cowl.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm kind of surprised they didn't make a new one for him.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite? As far as what looks good
honestly,
on the minifigure?
I like the one that doesn't have the chin strap. The one where it's missing the chin strap. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first Batmans, they didn't have the black painted on the head, right? Wasn't it just
Correct.
the flesh?
Yeah.
And then later on they added the black so it would fill in the rest of it.
Yeah.
So, right? Yeah.
I think so. I think so. And Batman has always solved that secret. Like, minifigures do have noses. Because the cowl has the little pointed nose. So it's covering something. We just can't see them when we look at minifigures. What is a... Oh.
Two more things we've got here, but go ahead and ask your question.
I was going to ask you guys, are there sets or characters that you want to see from Lego? It could be movies, it could be from some of the animated series, some more deep cut DC characters. What do you guys want to see from Lego?
This guy needs to be in his own movie.
That's not what I was asking.
Okay. The Lego Metamorpho movie.
Yes.
You hear those feet rushing to the theater.
I honestly, I'm just not that into DC to care.
Pains me.
I like DC. Don't get me wrong. I'm really into the Titans right now. I'm watching all those on HBO. I'm done. I'm caught up. I'm caught up on Gotham. I love that. I love the new Batman movie. But they're not going to make minifigures for those. They're way too adult.
Yeah.
So... I would love to see Gotham minifigures, but I don't expect them to make them.
Okay. No wish list, no fantasy wish list? Like, man, I really like this character growing up.
The Blue Beetle, the comic book version.
Original
and
Blue Beetle.
all those other really odd Green Lantern guys.
Kilowog.
And all those guys,
Okay.
That would be fun.
And I do like
they're very
these
different.
big buildable characters. I like the Ant-Man that they did, and the Giant Man, and I like, not Steppenwolf, but Aries. Aries.
That would be, you mentioned all the Green Lanterns, the aliens, because there were so many cool ones.
Yeah.
What was the planet's name?
I don't know, but there's a
Mogo,
Green Lantern that's a planet. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a sentient planet, and he has the ring somehow
inside of him. He has a
inside
battery
of
inside
him.
of him. But, that would, because there was Kilowog, there was a squirrel guy, there's this...
Yeah.
Anyway, they would look really cool as minifigures.
I just remember Kilowog's name because he was like always the strong.
Yeah. They could do him as a big fig. He'd be awesome. How about you? Do you have any?
It would be neat to. This is dumb, but it would be neat to have an Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. Just because they haven't made him yet, and
He'd have all the silver and
all
the
this,
piping
the
and
chrome
stuff.
and the silver, and he'd come with diamonds, and he'd come with a pun, an ice pun.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Danny DeVito Penguin and a Jim Carrey. Don't we only did they come out with a Jim Carrey?
No,
they didn't.
Jim Carrey's costume was so similar to the '60s Batman costume.
It's the '60s one that I was thinking of.
So, like, it'd be slightly different if they changed it. To me, I guess I'll be the one person with a serious answer. No, you said Blue Beetle, so that counts. But I would want a Dr. Fate. I love that helmet.
Yeah.
I love, like, he'd have blue and gold, the gold cape. Dr. Fate would be amazing.
We sell custom DC minifigures, and he's probably our top seller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have they made a Zatanna, right?
Yes. She was in a CMF. I think she was in one of the blind bags.
Have they made a
No, not Zatanna. I'm thinking of Huntress. They have not made
Huntress
Zatanna.
was in here. Zatanna, we have a custom figure of.
Okay.
She sells very well.
Zatanna would be neat. Constantine
Okay.
would be. They have never
blonde
made
guy in a
Constantine.
trench coat.
A blonde guy in a trench coat. Have a minifigure cigarette. No. I don't think that would play. But those guys would be. I didn't think of those.
Yeah.
I thought they had made a Zatanna, but they haven't.
No.
I think Zatanna would be neat.
Yeah. She'd have to have the top hat and hair combo. It would have to be
the
a new
original
headpiece,
with
I think.
the white and the yellow vest
Yeah.
with the
That'd be awesome.
tails
Yeah.
and the gloves, the white gloves and the little wand.
Yeah. All right. Last two things we brought.
Yeah, last two things. We've got Superboy here. That is a really cool Superboy.
Mm-hmm.
It came in that Target exclusives cube, and it's got a lame city figure.
Yeah.
I mean, totally lame. Common. Chima, that's all I've got to say. The Lloyd is very expensive. He has gotten expensive, and Superboy has gotten super, super expensive. I would say, I'm guessing they're over $60 each, because this is $150 now.
Wow.
It's mostly for that city guy, right?
Yeah, that Swamp Police.
Everybody wants a swamp.
Of course, they made buildable figures, the CCBS.
Those are old. Those are probably 2012, maybe.
This is the Joker one I'm
2010,
holding.
2012, yeah.
They're just creepy.
They're really weird. I mean, he is odd looking. That's an odd outfit and everything.
Yeah.
I don't remember him wearing orange shoes. They made the Green Lantern, and they made Batman.
Yeah.
And Batman's kind of weird looking.
And it was
too.
the blue Batman, the blue and gray Batman.
Yeah.
But you did get some Hero Factory pieces in odd colors.
Yeah.
That were new for this line. And he's got the flower print on that that Hero Factory chess piece.
That's another thing that people see that and they don't recognize it as being Lego.
Yeah. Especially if you just saw that head, you What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna ask: is Lego the only toy company that's allowed to make DC and Marvel at the same time, have them both on the shelf beside each other?
I guess.
Because who makes the action figures?
I bet there's got to be somebody else.
I can't think of one. I'm sure you're probably right.
Maybe
Tactics, maybe? Do you remember the Tactics characters, the tabletop game?
No.
I don't know. I know they made Marvel.
HeroClix?
HeroClix,
yeah.
HeroClix, yeah. Tactics was that different one.
There's got to be some non-things like plushies and stuff that make both.
Yeah, but I mean toys.
Okay.
Major toys, yeah.
Because Hasbro has the DC.
No, Hasbro has Marvel. Right?
Sorry, Marvel. I said that backwards.
Mattel had DC, right?
Yeah, Mattel.
And now it's McFarlane.
Yeah, McFarlane makes them too.
Makes DC now.
Which is interesting because McFarlane came from Marvel.
That's right. Yeah. That's another like sticking it to his old.
Yeah. And then he broke off and started Image Comics, and that's when a lot of independent comic companies, the artists were Rob Layfield. I think his comic was The Max, and they were really cool, like really well done, art heavy comics, story not heavy.
Yeah.
And I was buying all those up as collector's items in the early 90s, and they're not worth anything.
Oh,
Not yet. No.
Not
yet.
Image
It's
and
too late.
Spawn.
Yeah, Wildcats was one of
Yes,
them.
Wildcats.
Max.
Isn't that owned by DC now? Don't they?
I don't know.
Wildcats?
I don't know. But they
Very
were
interesting.
Image was spawning off
Yeah.
and all this other
Spawn.
stuff. So.
I know.
Spawn. That'd be a cool character to
She's
see.
gonna kiss you now.
Oh, you're dropping yourself.
Oh no. What else is there? Anything? I think we. So, what do you guys see for DC in the future?
Batman.
Yeah, more Batman, more
I
Batman.
think that we're not going to be short of Batman.
You
I
know,
don't
this
think.
new Batman movie, a lot of people thought it should be rated R, but it ticked all the boxes for PG-13. However, what PG-13 doesn't really take into consideration is how psychologically dark it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept getting all these warnings, don't let your kids see it, don't let your kids see it. I actually didn't think it was that bad.
Okay.
But it was psychotic. And it was they relied more on the detective comics idea, in that it was a detective movie. So non-costumed characters, which don't make good minifigures.
Yeah.
You know, we want
Yeah.
we want to see you guys dressed up as egg guys.
You know, see the egg. What did you guys think of the new Batmobile?
It was cool.
It's a car. It just looks like a car to me.
I thought nothing of it. I was very disappointed until I saw the movie. And then all of our employees saw the movie. Now all of our employees are buying that Batmobile.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. It's one of those things that just makes sense once you see the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to see it. All right. I would love if DC turned their movies around and got away from the darker tone so that they would be more Lego and advertiser friendly. But how can they do that without look like they're copying Marvel?
Well, okay, so Red Hood is a dark character, right? And they've made 2 of them already.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're stopping. I mean, Heath Ledger, for them to have made the Heath Ledger Joker,
Yeah.
that's
Twice.
really dark.
Yeah, you said for the longest time they'll never make another Heath Ledger
I
Joker.
know, yeah, I can't believe it. I
Yeah.
can't believe it. Yeah. So I
that's-
wouldn't even be surprised if they make a Deadpool now.
Yeah.
Oh, another DC show we haven't mentioned. There's 2 of them. They haven't made any Suicide Squad stuff yet. But when Suicide Squad came out, they made the Katana and they put her in one of the sets.
Yes.
So you can still get characters from these dark movies.
That reminds me, they have to make a King Shark Big Fig. I would
Yeah,
love
yeah,
a King
yeah.
Shark Big Fig.
Yeah, he was so funny.
Oh, and if they made the mouth actually able to articulate and open, that
That would be fun.
oh man,
Yeah.
they need to make a King Shark.
And I'm watching Peacemaker right now.
What do you think of that?
I stopped after the first couple episodes. I just stopped watching it. I thought they were trying too hard to make it funny,
Okay.
but it is funny. So I picked it back up after my brother convinced me to watch it. He was just like, it's so funny. You got to keep watching it. And it's like, all right. It is just so raunchy.
It is okay.
It's really raunchy, and that's why I think they try too hard to make it funny. But they'll never do anything Lego with it.
Yeah.
But put Peacemaker in a cartoon, they'll make a Peacemaker figure.
Yeah.
And then that'll make all the Peacemaker fans happy.
There are that reminds me, DC has some weird off stories that don't really intersect with the regular pantheon of characters, but like the Sandman series, that's in the DC universe. The Neil Gaiman Sandman, if you guys are familiar with that. Or what's the show that just came out a couple of years ago with Robot Man and Crazy Jane and Danny
Doom
the Street? Doom Patrol. That is DC. That is in the DC universe. Cyborg was in that show.
I couldn't get through the first episode. It was too bad. I started
I
watching it with my son, and he's 16.
Yeah.
He was 16. He's 17 now, but it was too bad. It was really, really bad.
Yeah.
So raunchy.
It's very strange, but that's the point. It's very raunchy, very strange.
Yeah.
But that's in the DC universe too.
Was Watchmen DC?
Watchmen is DC as
It
well.
was. Okay,
Yeah.
that was dark.
Yeah.
And I think, is that where Captain Boomerang came from?
I don't think so. Captain Boomerang is traditionally a
Flash villain, right?
Flash villain, and he was not in that series.
I'm just trying to remember where I saw Captain Boomerang being so bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
don't
like
know.
Constantine.
Constantine is another DC, really cool DC, and it deals with like demons and magic and stuff. And
so
occult.
the Constantine, the Keanu Reeves Constantine.
Yes, that was a DC license. So not very faithful.
No, he's supposed to be a blonde British guy.
Yeah, not very faithful, but yes, that is a DC property. So DC has a lot to draw on that they haven't got into. But I think because Zack Snyder's Dark Knight was so popular, they're afraid to stray too far from that. We got to keep it more gritty. We got to keep it more adult.
You don't need to do that with Superman.
Yeah,
Superman should be a little happier, I think. A little more hopeful.
He's wearing bright blue and red.
Yeah, put him in the daytime.
You know what though? I mean, that in Justice League when they bring him back from the dead.
Yeah. That scene where they're all fighting him. Yeah,
that's pretty dark.
Yeah.
And then Batman vs Superman. You know, you got two heroes fighting each other. Nobody wants to see that, but they made Lego sets for it.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming down here and telling us all about the awesome DC. Remember, it's not just the movie, kids. There's a whole awesome world of DC comics out there, and the movies aren't the end-all be-all in our comic entertainment. But of course, you don't have to choose. If you like Spider-Man and Batman, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. If you are subscribed, then we love you. If you want to listen to us just speak, we are on a regular podcast, Between the Studs, and we will see you guys very soon.
Yep. See you later.
Thank you.